3D printing technology has gained a lot of investment and research support because it could be used in almost every industry in the world. Over the last decade, there have been tremendous advances in the technology used to create replacement parts for machines and to create prototypes from scratch. This video will discuss how 3D printing will change the world. Number 9. 3D printing is changing your style. Fashion has also become interested in the capabilities of 3D printing. Established and emerging designers can prototype ideas much more quickly and even create unique fashion-forward creations. Designers such as Iris van Herpen have consistently used 3D printing to create impressive runway sculptures that impress the audience. Adidas and Under Armour have used 3D printing technology to create better and more comfortable shoes for buyers. You will ultimately be able to 3D print clothing and shoes without even leaving your house. 3D printing will open the way for extreme flexibility. Number 8. Production will take a turn toward the local. Corporate outsourcing has been a significant factor influencing change in the manufacturing industry since the 1980s. Large corporations frequently cut costs by establishing factories in multiple companies to manufacture each component of their final product. A company could use 3D printing to manufacture an entire car in one location. Labor laws won't be as revolutionary for 3D printing as they are for traditional manufacturing, which employs large labor forces. This is because 3D printing only needs a few employees. As technology advances, it will become less expensive and more accessible for businesses to manufacture their products close to home. This would necessitate significant economic restructuring in China and other countries whose economies rely on the availability of a cheap labor pool for manufacturing. To maintain their GDP, they must develop new forms of economic value creation. Before continuing the video, subscribe to our channel and smash the bell icon to never miss any of our upcoming videos. Number 7. 3D printing is changing the way we eat. Currently, you can 3D print food. Companies such as Biflow have 3D printers that can produce edible dishware and tasty food. The 3D printing food industry is still in its early stages, but has enormous potential. You won't be able to print a full Thanksgiving dinner, but you can print pizza, pasta, pastries, and even sandwiches with today's technology. The ability to 3D print food has the potential to help feed the homeless. Pop-up restaurants are now offering 3D printed food experiences. Sushi Singularity creates 3D printed bespoke sushi. At the same time, some 3D printing food startups have gone on to create tasty food filaments from restaurant leftovers. Number 6. 3D printing will spark a creative renaissance. As 3D printing becomes more common, inventors and creatives will find it more accessible and easier to turn their ideas into realities. 3D printing has already made it far easier for inventors to create prototypes. In the future, 3D printing could also be used in the manufacturing process. In a few decades, store shelves could be crammed with various 3D printed products that are currently unimaginable. Number 5. 3D printing could help solve the housing crisis. Across the West, home prices are skyrocketing. Young people today are much less likely than their parents to be able to afford a home, and many people struggle to make ends meet in a month. 3D printing could help with this. Winson, a Chinese company, offers 3D houses made entirely of recycled materials that cost less than $5,000 to create. Their method employs ink composed of fiberglass, steel, cement, binder, and recycled rubble. They've already built housing in China, recently expanded to Saudi Arabia, and plan to expand to 20 more countries in the coming years. Home builders can save money on transportation, building materials, and labor by using 3D printing. Cities of the future could be built using 3D printing. Number 4. New kinds of crime will emerge. When 3D printers become commonplace, digital piracy may spread from the media to the general market. Why buy an iPhone when you can print one with metal, plastic, and silicone ink for much less? This level of precision is currently far beyond the capabilities of the average 3D printer, but that may change in 10 or 20 years. Future digital pirates may be sharing CAD files rather than media torrents. Gun registration will be made more difficult by 3D printing. 3D printed firearms are already a reality, and their performance and practicality will only improve over time. Number 3. 3D printing could save the environment. Local manufacturing will be made simpler by 3D printing, which will cut down on fuel expenses remarkably. Faster manufacturing of goods may reduce the use of fossil fuels, potentially preventing the worst excesses of climate change. We'll be able to improve our recycling game with 3D printing. Plastics, metals, and paper will be recycled into ink for printers, using less energy than traditional recycling. Additionally, 3D printing naturally generates less waste than traditional manufacturing. 3D printing is a kind of additive manufacturing in which an object is created by layering material onto a previously empty space. Traditional manufacturing is a subtractive process in which the maker starts with a block of material and carves away at it to create the product. The latter generates far more waste, which can be avoided by switching to 3D printing. Finally, 3D printing can aid in the study of environmental degradation. Researchers at the University of Sydney created the 3D model of the Great Barrier Reefs to help model how climate change affects these natural structures. This could be used to assist reefs in recovering from bleaching and storms. Number 2. The medical industry will be turned upside down. 3D printing has the potential to revolutionize the world of medicine, from surgery to prosthetics to medications. Prosthetics are already being made using 3D printing. The technology is already being used by Not Impossible Labs, a research firm, to print prosthetics for amputees in war-torn areas for less than $100. 3D printing has the potential to make prosthetics more affordable for everyone, transforming the lives of amputees worldwide. 3D printing is also being used in surgery, with surgeons aided by replicas of hearts and organs. Bioprinting, a form of 3D printing that uses ink made of human cells and tissue, is advancing rapidly. Many technological and medical experts believe that 3D printed internal organs will be used in surgery by 2025. Surgeons have already used 3D printing to restore damaged bone and cartilage, using the technology to reshape a man's face following a car accident in 2014. Spiritum, a 3D printed anti-seizure medication, was patented in 2015, making 3D printed pills a reality. 3D printed pills could be a low-cost and practical way to make life-saving drugs available worldwide. Number 1. 3D printing will help us get to Mars and beyond. 3D printing technology has already made significant contributions to the aerospace industry. First and foremost, 3D printing has the potential to reduce the cost and weight of space travel significantly. Supplies and spare parts are difficult to obtain while in space, especially when millions of miles from home. The ability to 3D print astronaut food supplies could make longer trips much more manageable. BHEX, a startup, created the 3D printer for NASA to make pizzas. At the same time, NASA is working on various methods for printing parts in space. But the good times don't stop there. NASA is currently revolutionizing the manufacturing of liquid rocket engines. Researchers recently tested a 2,400-pound 3D printed copper rocket thrust chamber. Astronauts may collaborate with autonomous robots in the not-too-distant future to 3D print everything from rockets to entire colonies while hopping from planet to planet. In what ways do you think 3D printing will change your life in the next 10 years? Leave your comments below. Hope you liked this video. It was all for today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be back with another informative video.